Here is a rewritten English narration. Polished, cinematic, and paced for about 9 minutes of voiceover reading, calm, documentary tone, approximately 1.150 to 1.300 words. The content is faithful to your original, but smoother and more immersive for an English-speaking audience. Shenyang Imperial Palace, where the Qing Dynasty was born. When the icy winds from Siberia sweep across the dense forests of northeast China, carrying a cold that cuts to the bone, history begins to whisper. It whispers stories of horsemen, of survival, of ambition forged in snow and steel. Welcome to Shenyang, the capital of Liaoning Province, and the cradle of the last imperial dynasty in Chinese history, the Qing Dynasty. Before us stands the Shenyang Imperial Palace, also known as the Mukden Palace. Unlike the rigid symmetry and Confucian grandeur of the Forbidden City in Beijing, this palace radiates something entirely different. It feels raw, martial, untamed. This was not a palace built for indulgence. It was built to declare the rise of a people who once lived on horseback, the Manchus. A palace of the steppe, not the court. As we pass through the Great Qing Gate, the first thing you notice is space. The courtyards feel open. The walls do not tower oppressively overhead. The sky feels closer, wider, freer. This openness reflects the soul of a nomadic culture. The Manchus were born of the grasslands. They valued freedom, movement, and vigilance. They distrusted confinement. Architecture, here, is not about enclosing power, but projecting it outward. The octagonal heart of power. At the very heart of the palace lies the eastern section, dominated by the Dazheng Hall. This structure is unlike anything found in traditional Han Chinese imperial architecture. Octagonal in shape, crowned with a golden roof, it does not resemble a palace hall at all. It resembles a yurt, the traditional tent of nomadic life. This was no accident. When Nurhaci, the great Manchu leader, chose to establish his capital, he did not abandon his roots. Instead, he transformed them into stone and timber. The soul of the steppe lives here. Dragons of intimidation. Before the hall stand 2 towering dragon pillars. These are not decorative creatures. The dragons coil aggressively, baring their fangs, claws outstretched, symbols not of harmony, but of domination. They are a warning. Standing here, one can almost hear the thunder of hooves, the roar of armies, the clash of steel. This was the command center of conquest. The 10 princes' pavilions. Flanking Dazheng Hall are the 10 princes' pavilions, arranged in a sweeping arc like the wings of a hunting falcon. These pavilions house the leaders of the 8 banners, the Manchu military and social system that powered Qing expansion. The layout mirrors a military encampment on the open plains. The Great Khan at the center. His generals positioned strategically around him. It is a constant reminder. This throne was won on horseback, and could only be defended by discipline and force. The Phoenix Tower and eternal vigilance. Deeper inside stands the Phoenix Tower, once the tallest structure in Shenyang. From here, emperors and empresses gazed across the city. But notice the stairs, steep, narrow, defensive. Even at rest, the Manchus never lowered their guard. Security was not an afterthought. It was instinct. Surviving the frozen north. Winter here is brutal. Temperatures plunge to minus 30 degrees Celsius. There are no Western-style fireplaces in these halls. Instead, the palace uses the ingenious heated Kong bed system. Hot smoke from an external stove flows beneath brick platforms, warming the sleeping surface throughout the night. This is not luxury, it is survival wisdom, refined over generations. Warriors' clothing, even in court, The people who lived here dressed for action. Manchu robes featured narrow sleeves shaped like horse hooves, perfect for archery, swordplay, and reins. Even the women wore distinctive high-platform, horse hoof shoes. Foot binding was forbidden. Manchu women were strong, mobile, and trained. They rode horses. They practiced archery. They were partners in survival, not ornaments of the court. A different imperial aesthetic. The Qianqing Palace here looks unfamiliar to those accustomed to Beijing. The walls are blue-green with golden trim, not red and gold. Blue symbolizes the sky, eternity, and renewal. It reflects a worldview shaped more by nature than by ritual hierarchy. Never forgetting the beginning. In 1644, Qing forces crossed the Great Wall and captured Beijing. Shenyang became the secondary capital. Yet emperors such as Kangxi Emperor and Qianlong Emperor returned here often. They came to remember, to remind themselves, and their heirs, that power born in hardship can be lost through comfort. Relics of conquest. Within these quiet rooms remain the heavy armor of Nurhaci, the sword of Hong Taiji. They rest in silence, yet carry the weight of an empire. They tell the story of a small people who, through unity and ferocity, conquered one of the greatest civilizations on Earth. The beauty of beginnings. Today, snow still settles on the octagonal roofs. The Shenyang Imperial Palace stands solemn and restrained. It is not as dazzling as Beijing, but it is honest. Its beauty lies in origins, in ambition born intense, in dreams nurtured on frozen plains. As you walk beneath snow-laden pines and hear the cry of crows, sacred birds to the Manchus, time seems to reverse. You can almost see the 8-banner cavalry returning in triumph, laughter echoing through the courtyards. A final reflection. The Shenyang Imperial Palace reminds us, all greatness begins simply. Roots must never be forgotten. No matter how far one travels, or how high one rises, origin remains sacred. Thank you for joining this journey back to the birthplace of the Great Qing. If these stories of resilience and power resonate with you, consider subscribing, and together, we will continue exploring the timeless legacies of human civilization. Farewell, Shenyang. Farewell, warriors of the steppe. Until we meet again in the open pages of history.